Oh, righty then. Welcome. Welcome back to the Birds Flyby, the season 2026 season premiere of the quintessential and Eagle postgame entertainment here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, which your boy Matty B on a very rare occurrence of hosting a Eagles postgame show. I guess they figure, you know what? It's the preseason. Let's try everything. So here I am tonight. With the call here on the Birds Flyby. It's great to be back for season three. I think it's season 3 of this fine program. We will be coming at you every Eagle post game between now and hopefully Valentine's Day, as the Eagles officially have embarked now on the 2026 season. And did anybody make it through this game awake? Good God, man! Listen. I can already hear the excuses, the homers, the disciples out there rallying to the cause of, well, it was the first one. The backups and the depth guys played. So there's nothing much we're going to take out from this game. This game is terrible. The Philadelphia Eagles were not prepared to play this football game. I don't care who or what level a player was playing. I get it. No starters played on either side. But why did the Baltimore Ravens backups look so much more prepared? And why was the Baltimore Raven game plan, at least on the surface, look so much more prepared than what the Philadelphia Eagles went out there with? It was just a dreadful game. 0 for 9. The Eagles were 0 for on third down conversions. The offense was asleep for 3 quarters and about, almost 4 quarters. The only life they showed us at the end when Cole, Payton kid came in? Patton, whatever his name is, Cole Payton came in, mostly doing things with his feet, but he actually moved the football. Payton would finish 4 for 9 with 37 yards, averaged about 4 yards through a throw, and he did have the touchdown to fort the shutout as the Eagles scored 1 late, but just a bad game. Again, I get it. I'm not going to ring the alarms here, right? I understand what this was. But I wasn't impressed with anything the Eagles did or with any of the Eagles players with the exception of Cole Payton. Andy Dalton looked like about 5 years beyond his shelf life tonight. Tanner McKee looked like he never played quarterback before in this league. The Eagle offensive line was dreadful. Their defense porous. Keely Ringo with a... Whenever you're sitting here on any kind of post-game show talking about one of your defensive stellars of the game, and you mentioned the name Keely Ringo, the world has gone upside down, folks. 24-7, Eagles lose tonight at the hands of the Ravens. Terrible game. What's up, man? How you doing, Bruce? Good to see you tonight. I got a question about Bia. Sure, you can ask me a question about anything you want. We are talking Eagles post-game, though. As the Eagles got things happening on their 2026 season. Let's go over some of the numbers by the book here. Let's talk about team stats. Again, I mentioned one of them. So the Eagles, first downs, they 6 first downs for the entire game to the Ravens 31. 31 first downs to 6 first downs for the Eagles. Time of possession, 41 minutes and 17 seconds the Ravens held the football for. The Eagles held the ball for 18 minutes and 43 seconds. I'm telling you, as I was watching this game, if you blinked, you would have missed an Eagle offensive possession. That's how quickly they were on and off the field. Nothing going offensive at all for this team. The Eagles committed, as a team tonight, 10 penalties for 96 yards versus the 3 penalties for 25 yards that the Ravens committed. I'm not going to sit here and remind everybody that this was the backups. I understand that, but it was also the backups for the Ravens that were playing. It wasn't like the Eagles were getting taken to the woodshed by the Ravens starters. The Eagles' backups and depth pieces were not good. The Eagles were not good. The game plan was, I don't even know if there was a game plan. Not a really good way to start the preseason or start the season when you're looking at the depth of what this team might need to have. And again, a lot of the guys playing tonight will never see Sunday, but some of them might. And I'm not impressed with any of them. Not a one. The Eagles, 83 passing yards on the night. 83 passing yards. The Ravens, 298 passing yards. The Eagles ran a total of 40 plays tonight. The Ravens ran 76. Ay. Eagles 76 yards rushing. The Ravens 142. We already talked about the penalty situation. We talked time possession. Just an utterly terrible game for the Eagles. Backups, third stringers, fourth stringers. I don't care who. The quarterbacks, Andy Dalton got the start tonight, but was completely ineffective. 3 for 6 for 20 yards, averaging about 3.3 passes yards per pass. Tanner McKee, 6 for 10 for 35 yards. And then the only life that the team showed was in the end when Cole Payton came in. He was 4 for 9 for 37 yards. He also carried the ball 4 times for 45 yards, to include a big 17-yard run to kind of set the team up on first and go. For the Ravens, again, I'm not breaking all this stuff down. It's really just a pathetic game for the Eagles tonight. A pathetic way to start the season. Is it hard to become an umpire in the minor leagues in high A baseball? It's a loaded question. There's a process to it, but hard, no. Hard, no, but it is a lot of work, but not hard. I'm not going to get into the whole what the process is. I mean, I could. I'm going to be doing the Fight and Final here in a minute, so we can talk baseball there. I'll give you the process on how you become an MLB umpire. It's not as hard as you think, but a lot of work involved. Unlike what the Eagles were doing tonight. No work. Keely Ringo, your defensive player of the game. I'm going to give it to him. I'm either going to give it to Keely Ringo, or I'm going to give it to I don't even know the guy's name. Let's look for him. Forced fumbles. Where was the guy that forced that fumble? It's a beautiful play, by the way. Beautiful player late in the game. To force a Ravens fumble, accounting for a turnover for the Eagles. Number 38 was his number, I think. Yeah, was it Ambry Thomas? That was him. He had 7 tackles tonight, 4 solo, and again the big forced fumble there late to kind of give the Eagles a little bit of life. But that and the Keely Ringo interception, which again I can't believe I'm saying this, were your standouts on defense, and the play of the quarterback Cole Payton was your standout on offense. Other than that, there was no rushing attack. There was no semblance of an offensive game plan. There was no semblance of an offensive scheme. There was nothing. A vanilla defense, a porous defense. And the Eagles were outclassed tonight by the Ravens' second, third, fourth stringers. Simple put as that, folks. We're going to look like he was only 25. We'll talk about, listen, Bruce, if you give me like 20 minutes, we're going to transition over to the Fight and Final. I'll get into the process here in a minute. Where? Ty Robinson played a good game. Yeah, he did. Listen, he did. What was Robinson's numbers tonight? He had some productivity defensively, and you definitely want to keep an eye on him through the preseason. These are some of the players that are fighting to remain relevant on this football team. He had 2 tackles total, 2 solos. He did have a quarterback sack, and that was pretty good. Ty Robinson looking to impress. He needs to impress. He's got to have a big-time summer. Keely Ringo also needs to have a big-time summer. And tonight was a good start for him as he's trying to fight for his life on this team, I would imagine. But everybody else that played tonight, really up and down the second and third teams. Jihad Campbell saw some action tonight. Some of the starters did see some action. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. got in. It wasn't the fourth string right off the bat. Some of the on defense, some of the starters got some work. Mostly on the offense, it was all the subs. But just a terrible, boring game, man. Boring. Will Shipley, 7 carries for 22 yards. Bigsby, 2 carries for 5. Elijah Moore had a carry for 2. I mean, to me, honestly, what I saw tonight makes me question about what the hell they've been doing down there all summer. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking for for quintessential midseason Eagles action, right? It's the first game of the preseason. But they were so ineffective on everything they tried to do. 40 minutes of time of possession to 18 minutes for the Eagles. The Ravens literally doubled up the Eagles on time of possession. They could not do anything offensively. Not a thing. Passes being dropped, overthrown, sacks galore. Tanner McKee running for his life. Andy Dalton looking like a statue. It was not a very pleasing or confident building type of game from your backups. If we would potentially need them at some point. You're welcome, Bruce. I thought Trotter and Campbell played good. They played okay. Right? I mean, is that what you're looking at, Joe? Is you're looking at individual effort? I guess. But what about the offense, man? What was going on the offense? Because there was nothing happening over there. Nobody stood out. Again, except for Peyton at the end. Just a real bad game. I remind everybody here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network that this is just the start of your night of Matty B. I am going to be coming at you probably in about 20 minutes to do the Titans final as the Phillies and Twins have gone final. Phillies win a series, folks. That's right, man. Stop the presses, man. We're back on the winning series side. I'll be coming at you in a little bit with the Titans final. And then tomorrow you got the Philly AM Sports Show, the Titans final again with me, and I'll be back later tomorrow night with the final word. So we'll talk more about this game. Not necessarily about this game, but more about what the effort really means. And that's what the concerning part for me here tonight is the effort given by these players who a lot of them are fighting for their lives. And I saw nothing tonight. Absolutely nothing. But that's your schedule for the rest of the week. Again, I'll be coming at you in a little bit as the weekend of Matty B continues. I had you Thursday night in a fill-in duty with Mike Laro. I'll have you tonight, and I will have you tomorrow finishing up the Titans final as again, the Phillies with the win clinch the series. They have joint practices with who? A high school team? Joe, I understand they have joint practices. Are you trying to sugarcoat what went down tonight? Are you one of them guys? Because you're going to hear about it all day tomorrow morning. Oh, yeah. I guarantee you. When Homer and Homer get on the air, they're going to sugarcoat this. They're going to push this under the rug. They're going to give you there is nothing to see here, folks. Monikers from Homer and Homer tomorrow morning. So if that's what you're going at, if you're trying to throw shade at this game by saying, well, they had joint practices and blah, 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 I don't want to hear it, man. I get what this game was. I understand what the preseason is. I understand what week one of the preseason, but the Ravens seemed a little bit more energetic. The Ravens' offensive attack was a little bit more creative. Defensively, they were all over the Eagles. I didn't see a team in the Eagles that was interesting in competing in this game. I didn't see players that were interesting in having jobs in the National Football League here tonight. And that's concerning because these are the players that the Eagles, some of them are betting on having around a 26 and playing depth roles, important maybe at time depth roles on this team. I got massive concerns about the offensive attack. Again, I get it. I'm not asking for Sean Mannion to roll out his playbook with Andy Dalton under center. I'm not asking for that. But I wanted to see a little bit more creativity, a little bit more fire, a little bit more sense of I want to be on the field. The Eagle offense was terrible tonight. Even for a preseason game. Absolutely terrible. Yes, he will. He'll be back. Al had a scheduling issue on Friday. That's why he couldn't come out on yesterday, but he will be back next week. Just a terrible game, man. And it was our first show, the Birds Flyby, our season premiere, and this is what I got, and it's me, and I got to come in and I got to try to speak intelligently about what happened in Baltimore tonight. I got to try to sugarcoat. Well, I'm not sugarcoat, but I got to speak upbeat about what I witnessed on the field. I saw one player that sort of separated himself from everybody else, and that was your third string potential bubble quarterback, Cole Payton. That was it. That's all I saw. Everybody else was garbage. Garbage. And as we move forward into the preseason, and I hope that at some point the starters get in. I hope we see Jalen Hurts take at least one or two snaps at some point this preseason. I got massive concerns, man. I got massive concerns for the state of preparedness the Philadelphia Eagles were exhibited tonight. Not necessarily the game. I get it. I'm going to say this over and over again. I understand what the game was, but this was garbage, man. This was an insult to every Eagle fan out there that to sit down and watch this effort by this team tonight. Hopefully they work things out by then. I hope, Joe, for your sake, they hope they work it out by the third preseason game. Because if you're going to pay good money to go see this tonight, oh, man, somebody owes you a refund. The win and the loss obviously is not what we're talking about here. No one cares about that. But it's looking inside the numbers and looking at some of the people that had an opportunity tonight to show what they could bring. Some draft picks, some UDFAs, stuff like that could come in here and show themselves to be like, hey, I'm ready for this. I want to be here and I want to perform. That's what I saw nothing of. I saw nothing from anybody other than Kelee Ringo. And again, I don't know how the world has flipped now that I'm talking about Kelee Ringo in a positive way, but when he's one of your defensive standouts, there's something wrong with that. And I don't care if it's the second string or the third string. Nice, beautiful interception there by Ringo in this game, toeing the back end of the end zone line. That was a pretty interception. Credit where credit's due, but everything else was a mess. 0 for 9 on third downs, doubled up on time of more than doubled up on time of possession. There's nothing that I took out of this game tonight that I can say, I think this team is prepared. Terrible. Good evening, Matty B. What's up, Bob? How are you tonight? Preseason games. See, again, here we go. The first Homer apologist has emerged. And Bob, no offense, no disrespect intended to you, but this is what a lot of Eagle fans are going to default to right now. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Preseason games don't mean nothing at all. That's not what this is about. This is about the state of preparedness that this team showed tonight. Regardless if it was the second teamers, the third teamers, the fourth teamers, or the starters, this team was not prepared to play this football game. And that is that may be a symptom to a bigger problem. You cannot sell me. The Ravens' second, third, and fourth stringers, they were ready to play. But the Eagles, for whatever reason, whether the game plan, whether the personnel packages, whether it was, I don't know, they were not interested in playing this football game tonight. So you can't blanket it that with the preseason games don't mean much. They don't mean nothing. But you got to look a little further inside. And I know even the biggest homers out there are sitting back like, that wasn't good. It's not about the W or the L. It's about what this team, how prepared they are, how up they are for each individual game. These are guys playing tonight and probably next week for the most part, or was it next week? I know back in the day when it was 4 games, the second one was always the big one, but maybe it's week 3 now. But these are guys, some of them were playing for their lives tonight, for their next paycheck, for next week. And I saw a level of like that not existing. These guys were sleepwalking through this game. The coaches were sleepwalking through this game. You were 0 for 9 on third down conversions. Even as the game wore on and you got deeper into the strings, man, you got down to the 4th string. You couldn't convert 1 third down. Your time of possession was horrible. Doubled up, over doubled up. But again, this is what the homers are going to do. They're going to try to get themselves to sleep tonight by saying, this doesn't mean anything. Yes, it does. It means a lot. It means that there's something not happening in practice to get this team ready to play. Whether it's the first string, the second string, or the third string, or the 4th string. This was a bad football game executed by a bunch of non-motivated players. There's no other way I can explain that. It's not about the wins and the losses. It's not about of who was in there, that the starters weren't playing. That doesn't mean anything to me. But inside the numbers, this team looked unprepared. Unprepared and unmotivated to be out there. And that hopefully is not a symptom to a bigger problem. The only good thing was there were no major injuries. No, and that's correct. But who? Major injuries to who? I mean, again, Joe. Man, this generation of mamby-pamby, weak people, man. Lord, if it's old Matty B, let me give you a scenario. If I'm Matty B, 7th round draft pick out of Coastal Carolina of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm given some time to play in the preseason, I'm flying around that field like there is no tomorrow. I don't care if I break my leg. I can always have a great story about how my NFL career ended with a broken leg in a preseason game. I don't care. But I'm flying around that field like there's no tomorrow. I'm jumping routes. I'm doing everything I can to put my name out there. And if breaking a leg is what I got to do, that's what I got to do. You guys are missing the point of all of this. This is not a strategic football question. I'm not questioning the Eagles' skill level versus the Ravens' skill level. I'm not questioning any of that. I am questioning the team's heart, the motivation that this team was under stepping on the field, the preparedness that this team was allegedly supposed to be prepared for stepping onto this field. They looked like they didn't care. They were out there for just a Saturday night in Baltimore. There was no living for tomorrow mentality on this team. That's what concerns me. Not that they lost. No. That they looked so lackadaisical in the loss. 0 for 9 on third downs. Ooh, jeez. You're not, that's not professional football, man. I mean, you mess around, you get lucky at least one time. If you blinked tonight, if you sat down and watched this game but took your eyes off the TV for a hot second, you would miss an entire Eagles offensive series. And they were off the field. And here comes the defense. At one point in this game, I thought there was some sort of deal made that where the Ravens would only play offense and that the Eagles would only play defense. Because I was like, what happened? Weren't the Eagles just on the field? Wasn't it just first down? It was terrible. Terrible execution, terrible preparedness, a terrible football product put out by the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. And they all should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely. And some of these players are going to be asked to be depth pieces for this team. Does that make you feel good or bad about what you saw tonight? And God help me if Keely Ringo saved his job with that interception. God help me if that happened. Maybe Sean Mannion isn't. Listen, it's again. MP, listen. I'm not ragging on Sean Mannion. I don't expect them to roll out the heart of the playbook on the first game of the year, the preseason game. I didn't expect that, right? I didn't. But something more than what we saw here tonight. Does Andy Dalton's legs work? I mean, were they just pushing and pulling him around the field? That guy looked burnt back there, man. Tanner McKee looked like he never even took a snap before. And then you got Peyton out there rolling around, running for his life, making people miss, making stuff happen. Give that young man the start in game 2. I mean, listen, I'm not, this is not about Sean Mannion. It's not about that. It's about preparing this team to play. And that falls on top of the shoulders of that clown Nick Sirianni. That wasn't a good product tonight. Yes, he did. That Bone with a big night. What, 4 hits, 3 hits, something like that? We'll get into Alec Bowman, the Phillies here momentarily. I'm going to finish up this. Eagles lose 24-7. And very uninspired football from all aspects of the team. But the homers are going to tell you preseason games don't mean much. Nothing to see there. Step away from the TV. You're fine. Everything is going to be great. There's nothing to be concerned about what you saw here tonight. The hell? Yeah, there is. There is. Now, hopefully, they can rectify it and correct it. They got 2 more of these left. But the Eagles lose tonight 24-7 and just a dreck of a football game. And remember, I'm coming right back next week. I'll be back on this one. Probably doing the same thing. Maybe that's why they don't let me do these shows. Next week, the Eagles preseason game number 2. Is it Foxborough? A.J. Brown, maybe? If you see A.J. Brown in this game. Eagles Patriots next week, next Saturday night. I'll be on the call. Eagles post game for the Birds Flyby. And then again, of course, don't forget, here coming up very, very shortly, like in the next 5 minutes, this fight is final. We got Phillies win. Phillies Twins. Phillies in Minnesota tonight with the win and the series win. So at least we can talk some positivity tonight about your baseball team. But sure as hell can't talk about your positivity about your football team. Terrible effort. Terrible execution. Terrible game plan. Terrible everything tonight for the Eagles in their preseason opener against the Baltimore Ravens in a 24-7 beatdown by the second, third, and fourth stringers of the Ravens against the second, third, and fourth stringers of the Eagles. Don't listen to the homers, folks. There is something to see here. There is a level to be concerned about. And it's about preparedness, and it's about coaching, and it's about getting this team in a position to feel as if every snap should matter to these players, especially the ones that are on the bubble. And I didn't see any of that tonight except for one person. I guess two. I'm going to give Kelee Ringo his credit tonight for maybe the game of his career in the preseason. And, of course, Cole Payton, the former draft pick this year. 4 for 9 passing, 30. I'm going to say his line one more time because it was the most impressive of the night for me. 4 for 9 for 37 yards, 4 yards per pass, 1 touchdown. He ran the ball 3 times for 45 yards, averaged about 15 yards a carry, as he was the leading rusher for the Eagles tonight as well. Him and Kelee Ringo put on the show tonight, folks. They were the ones that said, I don't want to be cut. I want to play football in 2026. Everybody else mailed it in for the most part, especially the ones that shouldn't be mailing it in. Seem like they mailed it in tonight, and your coaching staff mailed it in. Again, symptom, I think, to a deeper problem on this football team. But the homers of the world are going to tell you, nah, keep the course, keep the faith. Don't take anything from this game. And if you want to hear more of the Homer diatribe, make sure you tune in tomorrow morning for the Philly AM Sports Show, where I'm sure Big Al and Mike will debunk everything I'm saying, bring up some random facts about the value of a preseason football game. So it's a point counterpoint type situation here on the network, which is a healthy way to live life. I love a healthy debate. Make sure you tune in to see the other side to this coin tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. All right, guys, listen, have a great night. It was great to be back on the Birds Flyby. I haven't hosted a Eagles postgame show in a minute. You can see why. But I'll be back next week. They're going to let me do it again. I'm going to come back next week for preseason game number 2, Eagles Patriots, before giving away to Mike Lauro for the final preseason game and then into the regular season. But you'll probably see me showing up every now and again, especially as we get deeper into the season. But catch me while you can here on the Birds Flyby. I enjoy it. So that's next week, next Saturday night, around this time, I guess. Until then, until I see you in about 5 minutes for the Fighting's final. You guys have a great night. Eagles lose 24-7. But there's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing. Don't worry about it. It's a preseason game. They don't mean that much. Good night, everybody.